Hey Ashley, how's it going?
It's fine.
Well, that's good. We just came off the tail end of the training. How do you feel like everything's been kind of hitting you so far?
I mean, I think it sounds pretty great for a lot of the people in the room, but honestly, like I've been doing this a long time, so it doesn't feel like new information.
Okay, that's fair. Since you've been doing like when you say that you've been doing it a long time, do you mean the job or like the kind of training?
Like the job. Um, and I feel like this training kind of comes around in seasons. So it's kind of like hard to get excited about something when I've heard it before.
Yeah, kind of like flavor of the week, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. I get that. Has there been any kind of new information that you've heard that piqued your interest at all?
I mean, I think it's new. I mean, I like the idea of um like I guess like the coaching aspect. I think it really would be great for the finance team and like I think they need it for sure.
Okay, okay. So I mean, so we're learning leadership, right? Obviously, it's not new to you, not new to
Yeah.
me. Um, I'm just curious though, like what how would you define leadership? I mean, I know that you're saying that the accounting team might need that, but I'm just curious how you would define that.
Yeah. I mean for me being a leader is an example, someone who um shows up, does the work, doesn't complain. Um, you know, is there to like get their job done and doesn't impede others in doing their job.
Okay. Do you think there's any other qualities to a leader?
I mean, like how?
I mean, it seemed to me, if you do you mind me speaking into it?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Um, so it seems like a lot of process stuff for you. Like they know how to do the job, they show up, they don't complain. Um, I mean, what like who is a person to you outside of work that you would view as a leader?
Um, my dad.
Okay. So what's it about your dad that you think are leadership qualities? What makes you want to follow him? Is maybe a better way to put it.
Um, I mean, partly because I was just supposed to, but I don't know. He always worked hard and um, he was willing to sacrifice what he wants for what is needed. Um, he followed through. He was always there when he said he was going to be.
So how does follow through and sacrifice make you feel when someone's willing to do that for you?
I don't know, man. I guess it makes me feel, I don't know if feelings is something I really think about, like, but I mean, follow through is, I mean, it just shows me that it matters.
Yeah.
Like whatever it was matters.
Yeah. That's great. And you've been here for how long?
10 years.
Okay. And how much time do you think you have left at the company? Ballpark.
Well, I mean, I'd like to see a change in the next 5.
Okay. Like when you say change, what does that mean?
I don't know. I mean, you've been anywhere for 10 years. Just like, you kind of get bored.
Okay. What makes you get bored?
Um, I know, like redundancy, kind of doing the same thing.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that if there wasn't as much redundancy and it wasn't as boring, maybe, and uh, you saw people who had follow through, people
Mhm.
with integrity, people who showed up, did the work, worked hard, um, and cared about people, would that make you want to stick around?
Maybe,
Maybe,
maybe.
maybe. So I'm getting the sense that you seem a little disengaged, if I can just speak bluntly to you. It seems like you seem a little disengaged, um, and you'd mentioned the people that are kind of like outside of yourself. I mean, what do you think in terms of like leading yourself? Like, what would that look like? Like, if you were, I mean, do you feel like you're a person of follow through?
Yeah.
Because you're hopping around from to different jobs. So how does follow through play into that?
I mean, I've been here 10 years. So it feels like consistency. Um, I don't I don't commit to something and then not do it. Like if it's part of my job, I do my job.
Okay. So when you signed on for 10 years, or whenever you signed on, was it for 10 years when you say that you do your job? I mean, or was it, you know,
I mean, I was young when I joined, so I don't know. I think I was signing on because I needed a paycheck and I was trying to find a career.
yeah. All right. Well, let me see if I can switch this up a little bit for you. Okay.
Yeah.
What would make you excited to be at work? What would make you want to stick around? Like, I mean, tell me something like, big vision where you're like, man, I'm not leaving this place. There's no way I'm going to leave this place. This place is too amazing for me to leave.
Um, I mean, my time's important to me, so I would like a more hybrid situation.
Okay.
Um, I'd also like to be, I mean, I just like creativity is not a thing people care about here, so to be able to be creative or think differently would be helpful. Um, because I get bored because I know how to do it with my eyes closed without a challenge. So
Yeah.
I'd like some form of creativity added in. Um, and some of the teams get to like travel and I don't. I've been here 10 years and like I don't understand why. Yeah, like there's no like I don't get to do anything new or exciting or even like move up in some capacity. So,
Have you had that conversation with your superiors or one of them at least?
I mean, we've had conversations, but I don't think they actually hear me.
Okay. So it sounds like to me that you are, I mean, you seem a little bit apathetic, um, and disengaged, but it's not, it seems like it's something it feels like for you, that's outside of what you can control. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but I also heard that, you wanted to be able to have, a more hybrid situation,
Hmm.
to be able to be more creative, to be able to travel, to basically make things a little bit more interesting, a
Hmm.
little more fun. Um, so what do you think about how would this look if, um, maybe between now and the next session, maybe, sometime in between, like when we get done with this, we're going to go back in the group, do some stuff and whatever. Um, and the rest of the day is kind of tied up, but maybe at the end of that or in the morning, sometime in between now and in the next session tomorrow, having that conversation with one of your superiors just to test the waters.
Uh, I mean, I'll try. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You mind if I follow up with you and then just kind of see how things are going, maybe between now and then, like maybe check in with you in the morning, see how things are
Sure.
going?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Great.
Yep.
Thanks, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
You're tough.
And I was like, you want it.
Oh man. Ooh. Well,
Sorry.
you know what it reminds me of is I had this guy who was like a buddy of mine. I've met him once. He was a youth pastor like for like YWAM.
Oh
And
Lord.
yeah, and he was based out of like what was it? Somewhere in Hawaii, right? And he was like, man, he's like, you know what the craziest thing is? He's like, I can take kids who are like just crazy kids and like they're making bad decisions and whatever. He's like, because I can direct them, I can redirect the energy. He's like, but these kids, they're just so chill and they just don't care. They just want to like, lay
That's
around at the beach.
so much harder.
Yeah, he's like, dudes, I don't know what to do.
Apathy. Apathy is the hardest form of resistance. I'm like, okay, well, I can't make you care, man. I can really try and not make you care.
Yeah,
That is outside of my power source.
yeah,
Yeah, you did a great job though. I actually really like that you used a lot of coaching techniques. Like you went back to like the vision, kind of like you're asking life wheel questions in a lot of ways, and like
yeah,
helping people change questions, which is really good. Which does make me pause and think and answer. Like I did answer them. I was trying not to be a total asshole. Sorry.
appreciate that.
But like give you enough to get, because I think honestly that person, like they can't run away from the conversation. They
Yeah,
have to answer the questions. So in some capacity. So I think that was good. Like the question you're asking, answer just call out like, hey girl, like you were clearly not in it, which I think is fine. Um, I would be curious. I mean, my personality would be able to call it out too, but I'm curious on what someone who's done this for a while would say about saying that to somebody when you don't really have the relationship with them. I'm
yeah,
curious. I personally would feel comfortable being like, "Hey, can I just say I think you're feeling it seems like you're just engaged and you're apathetic." But to say you're apathetic to somebody, I'm like, "Ooh, that's a dart." Like, do you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
I'm I would do it, but now I'm thinking, is that kosher? Like, is that you know what I mean?
Well, and
I don't
my thought is with all that stuff, it's like there are no rules.
right.
They're like best practices, but it's like, and I think everyone's gonna have like their own style. Like, I mean, I've seen guys who are like they call themselves coaches, but they're really more like consultants.
Yeah.
They'll like straight up call you to the carpet, like that's total BS. Let's get real. You
I
know what I
kind of
mean? I do too. I do
I'm
too.
into that, but not everyone is.
Yeah,
So I don't know if that's like I don't, I was just something I thought about in the moment. I was like, I wonder if that's, I don't know how that works. I don't know. Anyway, I
yeah,
don't mind it. Just curious about it.
yeah.
Yeah. You never seemed offended either, which I think is really hard. Even like role playing to be like, you're really annoying right now.
Yeah. Well,
Get or hear it in your voice, which is good.
I try to do this thing. And I've done a conversation with people before, and I feel like sometimes it makes them feel intimidated. Like I don't really do I don't do it anymore. At one point, I was just trying to kind of figure out because I had my own anxiety, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, keep a picture in my mind that that person's anxious and not me, and it would flip it in my head where I didn't feel anxious at all,
Oh,
right?
no.
Um, and so that's
Yeah.
what I'll do sometimes, where it's like, okay, well, this person obviously is got some issues going on.
Yeah.
Like, assume positive intent. It's like, well, maybe I can help them.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but not
that's
every
right.
time. Not every time. The very first coaching session I was ever in was like, I was like, holy crap, I hope I don't screw this thing up. You know, I'm like sweaty palms and
Yeah, I know. I
so.
get you. Okay.
All
So before I stop recording, the one positive or one little piece of feedback that I might give is when we look at the conflict model, is make sure that we're always for the person.
Yes, great point.
That's
I
great.
Always, in other words, what happens is, in not all of us understand this, and I'm learning a lot about this, is that in 8 milliseconds, our unconscious emotions are transmitted. So that means that's like far less than a second. We can
Mhm.
arouse shame, guilt, justification, denial, all that in
Mhm.
another person based on our emotions. So
Mhm.
John Townsend's conflict model, the 8 steps, being for that person so that they know that they're valuable because of who they are, just as they breathe and exist, is the driving dominating force. And
Mhm.
while I'm saying that to both of you, I'm trying to learn and own that. So the more
Mhm.
safe I am in me, the more
Mhm.
that I am able to coach others. So I would
Mhm.
always encourage that we all jump into that. So that
well,
would
and I
be
think
only feedback.
yeah, well, and I think to verbalize that's very important. I think that's a great point because I mean even in calling out, I mean setting it up like he talks about in the model, setting it up is like I'm for you. Like I just want you to know before we start the session, like I'm for you. I'm here for you. I care about you and I want to help you succeed. You know,
Mhm.
whatever spiel you want to give. But then even in those times like we were talking about with the where it's like you're apathetic. I'm seeing apathy. Am I wrong? It's like couching that and be like, hey, I said before I'm for you, and I am. I want you to know that. But do you mind if I speak into this real quick? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a lot of apathy. Like how does that hit you when I say that? You know, or something like that, you know?
Yeah. It dives into there's another handout we have before it end up I shut off the recording, but it's about relational immediacy. It's diving in and asking those questions. So um both of you just have massive skills at being able to relate. And so I can end the recording here because you gave some great feedback. So
Well, and I'm trying to figure out too, like with my own self. I know that with my last class, at first I felt robotic, and even Glenn, he was from our original cohort, kind of called me out, and he's like, "You don't seem like yourself," you know.
Mm.
And he's like, "You just seem like you like I don't." He's like, "You just I forget what word he used, but I told him I was like, well, I'm a bigger personality, and I feel like as a coach, I have to be real calm and talk soft. And I'm like, that's not me, dude. You know? And so I'm like, I don't. So I'm like using all this energy to kind of keep that part deep, like pressed down, so I can be real, real Dr. Jill. Just like it's all good. And it's like I just want to like get up in there and like I want to give you a hug and say what's up, man. Give you a high five and like let's get to work, kind of a thing, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and he was like, well, then do that. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Glenn, as always.
okay,
I love.
so I'm going to end recording. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Papa